Kenton and Habiba. Happy Friday. So, we're back with another Wisdom Friday, another Friday evening. So, hopefully, you guys had a good day at work. Hello. And when you come into the room, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you're there. So, we have Kenton. Say hello, Kenton.
Hi, folks.
So right now, actually, at this very moment, nobody's here. What are you guys doing? Are you out and about? What's up? Say hello when you come in. Okay, someone's in the room. Go ahead and let us know where you're watching us from, and yeah, where you're watching us from, and how your day is going so far. So today we're thinking about talking about a number of different relationship and marriage related topics. Hopefully you saw us last weekend. We were talking about saposexual. We learned something new, and some of you sent a few suggestions for topics. So we definitely encourage you to continue to leave some suggestions for topics for us. What's cool is another person also suggested that maybe we should start a marriage counseling class or something. So let me know if you think that's a good idea. We should start a marriage counseling thing. And maybe we'll actually spend like real time with someone. Like you could call us and talk to us for a fee, of course. No? Yeah, no, I think that would be nice. We'd talk to you if you're having some issues, if you really want to talk to us. Maybe I'll leave a link in the description box or something. But anyway, what do y'all want to talk about? Let's see. What I have is someone suggested I look up demisexual.
Hey, Misty from Michigan. Welcome.
Hi, Misty from Michigan. Welcome, welcome. So I'm thinking, let's talk about demisexual. Have you ever heard that term before?
No.
No? Can you look it up?
Yeah, I looked it up.
You looked it up? What did it say?
It says that it's someone that is only sexually attracted to someone that they have strong emotional bonds.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I found it like kind of odd, in a sense that who keeps coming up with these definitions? Like, don't we all generally,
No,
I'm speaking,
genuinely.
or genuinely or generally,
Yeah.
I think like usually before you enter a deep relationship, I would hope you have some sort of emotional connection.
No, but that's really the point of it is that just like how some people could have sexual relations, it's really in regards to sexual relationship, and some people could have sexual relationships without having emotional bonds.
Okay.
So
A lot of guys can be like that.
and women, because guys aren't doing it themselves.
Yeah, but I think no, most women,
Maybe.
I would say most women tend to be emotional creatures in the sense that they might have been misled or they believe they're emotionally
So women,
attracted to a man before they have sex. I don't know. But you know what? I'm not that type of woman, and I know there must be women out there that are having sex without.
That's the point of the sexual liberation, was that if men can be promiscuous or free to sleep with as many women, why can't women sleep with as many guys? It's kind of like that.
Right.
Right. So, so anyway, so with the demisexuals is that they're individuals that can only feel attraction. It's not just in general. So they can't get into a sexual relationship unless they have an emotional bond.
Right.
And then, so again, a lot of these terms or identification are generated based through sexuality studies and stuff. But the thing is, and so it was formulated in 2006, and but the thing is that it's a very pliable concept, meaning that it fits a lot of different scenarios, and so some people in this sexology field feel that
There's an actual sexology field.
yeah, just like social work and stuff.
Right,
There are sex experts.
That's true. I shouldn't say that. I should make light of it because actually I do have a friend who, that was her interest or her field.
No, because it's deeper than just the physical contact of sex. It's really about having healthy relationship and healthy relationship, even with one's own sexuality and stuff. So there's a
Right.
lot go into it. So it's psychology and stuff. And so basically, that the argument is that this the term demisexual is pliable to a point where it fits a lot of categories. So it could fall under asexual. It could fall under
Right, because I
various.
know the term asexual,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
understand the term asexual, where some people just are not attracted or, to anyone in particular, or they themselves.
Yeah, there's many different reasons where they do not engage. They do not engage in sexuality,
Mm,
and some of it is you have on one spectrum side is asexual by choice,
right.
but sometimes it's asexuality due to basically through a dysfunction. So it's like self-imaging. I'm not
Mm,
worthy of
mm,
physical contact. It could also
mm,
be a adverse reaction towards
right.
a molestation stuff. So you
Mm,
just totally avoid that because it triggers. I mean,
mm,
so there's a lot of different things. So because again, asexuality is this broad umbrella, demisexuality kind of falls under it. So they
right.
kind of say how. So the argument is that how helpful is a definition if it doesn't really assist in the again the clinical helping,
Right.
because if someone's with a strong bond, but again that can fall under asexuality. Like I say, it's a spectrum.
Right.
So if you're treating someone, you're focusing on what is the trigger, what is the root cause of that.
Mm.
Well, then my sexuality is kind of just more of a
Right, it's just
subcategory.
another, yeah. I found like it also strange that they had it listed in some cases with the LGBTQ whole
Well, again,
categorization, and I thought, really?
but it's not well again because again a lot of the studies of sexuality stuff
Right,
it goes into again gender identification and stuff like that. But those are
right.
separate things. But again, that's where a lot of it comes generate from is that not necessarily the
Mm,
only thing, but it's
right.
also that. So, but yeah. So anyway, so it's just another
Anyway,
parsing.
yeah, it's different. It's interesting. And we all, I think, are a combination of many different things, just like I
Well,
think
yeah.
just because most of us, the first thing you generally see about a person is their physical, whether you can help it or not, that's generally, but obviously we give that different importance in terms
That's right,
of,
right.
yeah, in terms
It's
of,
how you
right,
evaluate it. Yeah,
right.
exactly. Because so that's the thing is that again, like just like you say, you eat with your eyes, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you look at a plate of food and
Right,
immediately is it appetizing? Is it something that because that's also part of the survival instinct. Is this spoiled food? Is this safe? Is it
right.
good? And
How
then
well is it presented
right,
to
and
me?
then you also it's not just your eyes, but also the smell, and
Mm-hmm.
then also if it triggers also latent memories of
Right,
childhood or happiness,
right,
or it could be something that had triggers something negative. So there's a lot of things.
right.
So same thing, you see someone, and it could just be that person's posture, the way they're dressed. It could trigger all different things,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's complex. So then, and then sometimes if it could trigger, it's an attraction,
Mm,
whether it's to a level of sexuality or to the level of platonic friendship,
right.
you know. But the point of man is that you interact with people, you gotta have some level of connection,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you
No,
wouldn't interact.
absolutely,
Okay, see, so
absolutely.
yeah, so
Just like I at one point used to really, and I don't know, maybe I still feel that way, but I often think men and women outside of a marriage cannot be friends unless, or the reason that they're friends is usually because one or both of them was at some points attracted to the other. And it may not always be, oh, sexually attracted, but there was some level of attraction while you're friends.
well, yeah. I mean, you gotta be attracted to someone if exactly like
You know what
it
I mean?
trigger.
Like a friend
Well,
that you're not having sex with,
well,
you're not
yeah, but
married to,
you could
but
be
if you have
attracted.
a female friend,
Yeah,
there's something about you that she is attracted to or vice versa.
yeah. I'm a goofball, so I make the person laugh. So so it's like a levity. I'm a clown, so it's like
Right,
I
but
mean,
it
there's
makes
all
it
different
dangerous
levels.
for some because there's some men, for example, that don't want their wives to be friends with a male colleague because they're afraid that it's going to go further.
Well, again, it's just like anyway. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna put your spouse in a box? I mean, you're gonna have them having them work. I mean, you gotta interact with people,
Right.
and then it starts getting to a level of dysfunction, right? I mean, there's got to be of course, that doesn't mean also just from a male perspective where you just turn a blind eye. Oh, you're going out with Jim to work on a project
Right.
at 1 a.m.
Right.
Okay, I love you. No, man. I mean, there's got to be boundaries, right? So, but again, if you're having those issues, you're already past that point because that means that there's something. And a lot of times betrayal is close. I mean, it could be your best friend that's
Right.
sniffing around and hanging out. It's because he's eyeing your partner. So.
Anyway, so
That's what soap operas are made upon, is those type of conflicts, and they happen. So.
Right. I'm gonna pivot to the title of the video. As you saw, I titled it, I want a child, but my partner. So put yourself in that situation. You want a baby, or I want a baby, and my partner or husband or boyfriend or, wife doesn't want a child. I guess the question is
that's one scenario.
Right.
Because the other scenario you gotta remember, which is also common, is if a partner brings children from previous relationships into the relationship. See, so we always go to the default as a baby.
Right.
But it could also be that you're dating someone and they already have a child, and they would bring in. So basically,
is that a deal breaker?
Then you have an automatic family and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So there's the levels, the other scenarios that go into.
So let's talk about more of you're starting, right? You're starting. You're in a relationship, or you're early in a relationship, and you have always desired a child, but this person that you're with or that you're dating tells you point blank, I don't want a child. I don't want any babies. I like the relationship the way it is. You and I are happy. I just don't see that a part of my plan. Do you feel like that's a deal breaker?
Okay, so the thing is that again is to see things in nuances, because a lot of factors that go into it is that first, how long has the relationship been established? Because those conversations will be different. So, for example, if you just got into the marriage in the first year, and there was a whirlwind courtships, meaning that you didn't have a really long substantive relationship prior to the marriage,
right?
Say a year, and then you got married,
right?
So, and then now you want to have a baby, okay? So that intensity of the conflict is going to be much higher in many ways than, say, for example, you dated for 5 years, you got married, you're both married,
right?
Then you've waited 3 to 4 years. Now you're having the conversation. You say, well, so you already have almost 10 years of history together,
right? And
now one partner wants to have a child and the other partner doesn't. What I'm saying is, why you say, well, what's the difference? The difference is one is the level of communication and understanding, because hopefully within that 10-year period, there's been some level of mutual understanding of what does family mean to each other. See, so many times when you are in a relationship very quickly, you haven't had a chance to have even one, to grow together, and two, to even understand each other's value systems in regards to family.
Right. So, one thing I will say though, this whole 5 to 10 years seems like an awfully long time for me to wait before we discuss or before it comes up.
Those are arbitrary.
I'm just thinking,
those are arbitrary numbers.
Right, 5 to 10 years.
They just sound good to me.
Right. It seemed like a real long time for us to be sitting around trying to figure out whether I want, whether you want kids or not.
But the thing is that, many, because also you got, again, there's so many different scenarios, but then this is where also the other is career path. That's why I look at 5 to 10 years, because many times these conflicts do come in because, say, for example, a partner, say, just use a woman, for example, has worked on her career.
Right.
And now, say she's at the age where 35, okay, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So if you went to college at 20 or professional school, you spend time, you have your first major job at 25, you work your way up the ladder, 10 years. That's where I hit 35.
So here in this scenario, we're assuming it's the woman that doesn't want to have the child?
Or she does want to have a child, because if she hits the 35.
Right, because a lot of women, even professional women, they start to get really anxious when they hit their 30s, especially mid 30s, because as we know, 35 is advanced maternal age, that a lot of them start itching to find a partner that is serious or committed and wants to be, wants to be married and wants to settle down and wants to have kids. And sometimes, maybe you pick I don't know if I want to say wrong person, and he doesn't.
We got someone that says, what's the point of commenting if the hosts keep preaching their views?
Okay.
So,
okay. I guess, I don't know, what would it be interesting, to hear your view. I can only give you from.
I don't know about preaching.
We're not exactly preaching.
Because we're just talking about scenarios and stuff. We haven't even gotten to a preaching, like what one should do, one shouldn't do.
Right.
Which I wouldn't say, because again, everyone has different scenarios. What we're talking about is really what are the strategies to communicate with each other, each partner's needs.
Right.
And ultimately, what's the best interest of the child. So that's not preaching. So because we're not. At least we're not saying.
I'm wondering if this person feels I'm interrupting you
No,
what.
No, you're saying what you have to say. So again, I appreciate that perspective in regards, but that's not preaching. So preaching is where I already say, no, whoever says this is the way, right.
Wrong.
It's going to vary upon each, it's a case by case basis. So the thing is though, how do you broach that subject with each person? And that's really what we're talking about, is a strategy. Then how you take that to mold it to your specific situation.
Right.
And again, trust me, anyone that says, oh, this is the way to do it, just like there's many roads to the top of the mountain, because each person's case, so it's the same thing. But again, I appreciate that person's comment, but please just, take a step back and just,
sometimes people come in with their feelings or their,
and
their.
it triggers that. So,
right.
And it's understandable.
And I can understand that. And you know what? Just like that statement I said the other day, where it's like two people can come with two different perspectives, and we can both be right.
Yeah, Yeah, because it depends. Right,
there isn't always one great answer.
Right. And again, what we're talking about is really talking about strategies in the communication process, because you're going to have initially what it is you have when you have these serious discussions, because you have desires. So one wants to have a child, one doesn't. The thing is understanding each other why.
Right.
Right. So how do you go from why, and then you really in a way you're trying to negotiate, because we always talk about in any type of relationship, whether you're married or not or you're dating, it's compromise, but the question is how far do you compromise and stuff, and that's going to vary. But
right.
So that's the thing, and that's why when you get into a relationship, these are some of the things that can be potential deal breakers.
Right.
Because if they escalate the conflict so high that then things become very difficult to reset, to recenter the relationship. So basically that's the thing. That's why I use the two scenarios. So if you haven't had time to really develop and understand each other's centers or value systems, then it's hard to then move into where you can compromise and negotiate.
Right. Let's make it personal, because obviously we all look at things through our own filters. True. Let's make it personal. Let's say when we were much younger, I've always known I wanted to be a mom, but I never, it wasn't something clear to me that I wanted to be married or be a wife. Like I always knew foresaw that I wanted to be a mother. So when we got together, obviously when you're young, and you learning each other, you get, you're focused on learning each other and building a relationship. Would it have been a deal breaker for you if I had said, I definitely want children, and I want children by X amount of time.
Sure. Well, and that's a good point, because that's the thing. It's like, again, many times what we want will also change as we go into relationships. So that's the thing. How many people have come in and say, like, okay, by 2023, I'm going to have a child.
Right.
Some people do,
right.
But many people don't, because again, there's so many what ifs, right? You just know I want to have a family. The question is timing, and the funny thing with life is that when you think it's a good time,
God has other plans.
You got other plans. But what they say is,
Right.
is that the universe.
God
when
has
you have
other
a
plans.
when you have a plan, the universe will change it.
Right.
And that's the thing. And so it's really not more about a timetable, but it's more about a value set. Okay, and that's what we're talking about is the strategy is understanding each other's value set. So if you both are in alignment, meaning that you want a family, and then the question is whether the time, but that's where the conversation comes in, because I'll be honest, when you were talking about when you want about
Right,
children,
right.
for me, I never really knew when was a good time. I was always worried that we didn't have enough money, that will we be able to provide. I mean, I would really overthink these things. I really worried a lot. Am I going to be a good father? And those things, and those are legitimate concerns. And so
Right.
I would think, okay, maybe next year, next year. And really what it comes down to is like, it's really never a good time in general
Right.
having children, because there's so many factors that come into it. So I think the thing is you just, meaning that you do the best you can.
Right.
You
But would you say have felt like, I can't be with this woman because she wants to have kids and I don't,
Okay.
or vice versa?
Okay, well, so now in that scenario, where now it's very specific. Like if you got involved with someone, and like what commenter said, a lot of pain comes from it, where you fall in love
Right.
with someone, and then you realize that person does not want. There's no bending.
Right.
It's a hard set, and that's
Right.
why I was saying about value setting.
Like I have a relative who knows he does not want any children.
Right.
And for all of you, I'm not talking about the brother that you know with me, not my younger brother that you see, but I have a relative who just knew from the get-go he didn't want any children. And I always thought that was a little strange, but everyone, it's their personal,
Choice, yeah.
choice. Who am I to tell them whether they should have kids or not? But he knew while dating he did not want any children.
Right.
And he was dating women who sometimes wanted kids, or sometimes they had kids. But I just,
So did he ever settle down?
yeah, they settle down and they don't have kids.
Yeah. So he found someone that.
Right, because she had kids.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Previously.
So that's really the point. I think that in the end, that is what happens, is that if you had to meet a lot of different people, but as long as they're upfront, the problem comes in is when you're not upfront about those things. At least he was upfront.
Right.
And say, hey, this is the thing. So that way they know, okay, you know what, this is not going to work.
Right.
Thank you very much, and you move on. I think a lot of the problems comes in many ways, is when one of the partners is either deliberately or they didn't really realize
They
for
didn't
themselves.
bring it up early
They
enough.
didn't bring it up. And again, going back to my scenario, and even then, you could be in a long-time relationship and didn't realize that person
Right.
didn't want to have kids because either, again, childhood trauma. I mean, there's a lot of things. But then again, therapy can work with that. See, so then again, if you again are committed to each other,
Right.
to relationship, then that's where therapy comes in.
Right.
So again, this is not preaching. It's just saying that then that's a tool that many people don't avail to themselves.
Here's another interesting scenario that I've seen a few, where you're married, you have kids together, and then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden because it takes two, but at some point the wife generally informs the husband that she wants to wants another child. Let's say they already have a bunch of kids or a number that, is fitting to them. And the wife tells husband, either I'm pregnant or I want another child. And the husband doesn't want the child.
Yeah, that's exactly what one of the commenters
Oh,
says.
really?
Is that, yeah, it's interesting.
Because
They
I've
brought it up.
seen that quite a
Yeah,
few times,
yeah,
very
no.
close to home.
No, it's terrible, yeah. And that's what one of the commenters is saying, is that, not everyone is called to marriage. That's what they said, or to being a parent. See, we just assume that, that biologically, see, again, that's, is that having the capacity to have children
Right.
doesn't mean you have the ability to raise children.
That's a good point.
Right? That's it's
Right.
different. It's just that
Right.
because, you may, again, biologically, have
Right.
children, but that doesn't mean you can be a parent. And I think
Right.
that's also part of also some of the things is that, but no one's actually trained to be a parent either. And I think that's the thing, because in it, it's just like marriage, you just join together and you realize it is hard work. I mean,
Right.
you have conflict. Some days you just, you're just fed up to here. I mean, those things happen, and you'll say things that are just outrageous. And then you have to figure a way to how to work through it,
Right. But I always find it disturbing in all the scenarios that I've seen where, you've got a couple that are married, hopefully happily married, and then when wife gets pregnant, the husband is like, I don't want this child, or I didn't want any more children. But yet I understand, it's his right, isn't it? It's his right to feel I don't want any more children, but now that your wife is pregnant, do you have the right to say, I don't want this child?
No, you don't have the
You
right
know?
to disown a child, to basically.
Right, or the child is born and the husband pretends or acts like he doesn't want to be a part of this child's life. He doesn't want to bond to this child. That's quite disturbing. But I have seen that quite a few times.
Sure, where a parent, I mean, and the things, but again, the child's innocent. See,
Right.
you bring a child in the world, a spirit into the world. Again, now maybe I'm preaching a little bit now, because again, if you don't believe in those things, then this may not be, understanding. But I do believe that, when we bring a spirit into the world, we have an obligation, whether you want to call it a social contract, a spiritual contract, whatever, based on your belief system. But there is an obligation, because you brought this spirit in the world. And if you want to discard it as if it's a commodity or a product, that's on you, and then you can deal with it in your value system. But there is a responsibility, and society does that. The court system sees that you have a responsibility. So
In the U.S. at least.
Well,
in the
well,
U.S. at
yeah,
least,
whether
because I
you-
don't know in
well-
other countries, men can get to
Well,
walk away or pretend that
yeah,
they're
well,
not obligated.
Well, there you go. I can only tell you what I know, which
Yeah.
is this in the Western world and in many other systems that recognize parental rights and the rights of and the protection of the rights of children
Right.
And women. There is an obligation. How it's enforced, you're absolutely right. That could be another thing, and that's a different issue, enforcement. But in the end, there's that.
It went away.
It goes
Sorry.
so fast,
Sometimes
sorry.
the comments come in really quick and then they
Yeah.
disappear. We don't see them as quick.
So anyway, but there's in that sense. Again, there's different complexity, because again, there's also an awareness. So what if you had a one night stand with someone, they got pregnant, you didn't know the child,
Right.
and
That happens a lot,
and that
too.
happens too, and then that person goes away. You didn't even know you have a biological child out there.
Well, once you know, once you know,
Yeah,
then you do have at least a legal obligation
Yeah.
to help, financially support that child. And even if you're not emotionally connected, I guess if the woman chooses to get child support from you, she can in this part of the world. But not every man, is emotionally or physically
Capable
present
or
or
present,
capable,
yeah,
like you say, being in this child's life, even when they should.
Well, again, and then this goes back to what's the best interest of the child.
Nobody thinks about that nowadays. They think about themselves and what's convenient for them, unfortunately.
Some people,
Right.
yeah. Not everyone, just some people. Yeah. But again, that's part of it, is the best interest. So who are, so it's like, because again, that's again with children, they're innocent, so they that's the thing, they're very forgiving. They see above that. They
That's
just
true.
want to be loved by their parent, whether
Right.
mother or father,
Right.
even with their flaws and all. That's one of the amazing things about the love of a child, is that it's that forgiving. But so it's a precious gift, and unfortunately it gets taken advantage of or not acknowledged.
Right, right.
So that's why people who are adopted, they'll seek their birth parents.
Right.
That's how strong it is
Right.
that kind of
Right.
that kind of thought.
Right. Like, despite how dysfunctional in some cases their biological parents are, they'll still, there's always that desire to connect
to
and
connect
find,
and be
where you
accepted.
came from. And then sometimes these children are disappointed, or these young adults or adults later in life that do find, their biological parents are disappointed, but yet there's still that strong desire to know where you came from.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Yeah.
right?
No, that's exactly. That's why it's so integral to one's identity as well. Being
Right.
accepted, being rejected, and and I think that's part of where these terms come from and identifications. Like in different communities of who I am and my sense of person and stuff
Right.
like that.
But
So,
like you said, sometimes not everyone should be a parent. Just because we all are capable of having sex or bringing a child into the world, not everyone really should be a parent. And it is a blessing that there are people out there willing to adopt and take care of other people's, biological children and raise them as their own. Um, and I'm going back to that whole point, what if you find someone, you're in love with someone, and they tell you they don't want kids? Well, then maybe they've done you a favor, right? By at least telling you what their desires are, because maybe they know themselves that much, and they just choose not to be a parent now or again if they have children.
yeah, and again, that's where the strategy of again value setting of understanding where, because that person could also be again hearing them. See, and that's the thing with communication is that not only hearing what is said, but also what is unsaid. So if someone may say, I don't want kids, this is where in a non-judgmental way is going into the why. What is it about having kids? And sometimes if you're not comfortable having that conversation,
Right.
that's where therapy comes in.
Having a third party.
Yeah, whether it be whether it be faith based or not, but or even if it's a trusted family friend, but someone that know that everyone's comfortable, that it's non-judgmental, that it's in a safe space,
Right.
that you can talk about it, because sometimes it could be things that you may not even be aware of, like again childhood trauma or issues of fear. Of failure and stuff. I mean, there's a whole plethora of different things that could
Right.
that could the individual could say like, well, you know what, I just hear terrible things. I just don't want to do it.
Right.
So yeah, so that's also part
And
of it as
knowing
well.
whether to walk away or whether that's a deal breaker, I think that's completely a personal choice.
Oh, of
So,
course,
and
yeah.
I would definitely say that's not preaching. I think that is a personal choice when you're with someone and you have to decide, is this relationship worth fighting for because they don't want children or they don't want a baby? Or is this a deal breaker for me? I absolutely want to have children. I can't see my life without having children. So we need to just split ways amicably.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah, that's totally.
that's where again, if you've made all efforts, in a sense, it's like again with escalation and conflict is as you discuss these things, and if you just have an impasse where the individual is just like, there's no way I can't make it work. Yeah, that's where the decision comes in, and again, whether working with therapists or through prayer or for whatever way you need to be comfortable in that.
Right, right.
That's where you need to do. But the worst case is as you say, is having a child and that child is exposed to the negativity of someone that doesn't want that child.
Right. No, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's the
Yeah.
worst.
So that's something you have to think too. So really think long and hard is that, you to stress me, some people might think, oh, well, if I have the child, he'll just, or my partner, because,
Right,
we'll fall
right.
in love with this child.
Right. A lot of women tend to think that, typically,
That,
our relationship will be better or he'll feel differently once this child is here. And maybe that's true for some, but a lot of times it just is a negative, toxic space when that child comes into that space and he doesn't want it. It can be quite toxic and also very detrimental for that child not to feel loved,
Absolutely.
not to feel wanted.
Right.
The child knows that. The child
right.
feels that at
Oh,
some
absolutely.
point.
Yeah. And again, that's again the best interest of the child. and again, like I said, many times we don't think about it. We just, oh, a kid, we'll have a kid and everything big. And it's like, no, you have to move with intention in regards to that, because again, you're dealing with life. You're dealing with something as precious as that, if that's what your value system is.
Right.
And hopefully most people are. I feel that our audience is that way, or they wouldn't be watching us, in our discussions and sharing and stuff like that. So, so that's why you want to move with intention about it. So,
Right.
and even if it's adopting, sometimes it's not even just biological. What if it's two couples, two partners, they want to adopt? It's the same thing.
And one doesn't, and one does.
Now, but that will pose a barrier to adoption, because in adoption, in that case, both have to agree. You can't have one or the other, because again, that's just where you have that where they do not want to place a child in a potential high conflict
Right.
home.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's very
Definitely,
critical.
that's true. Actually, I was thinking about how, in the past, you have to go through a lot more, quote, training and
Oh, yeah,
paperwork
absolutely. Yeah,
and thought process as a couple to adopt, more so than you do having a biological child.
Oh, yeah, even just fostering, because
Right.
you have to go through co-parenting
Right.
training. So, I mean, if anyone's interested in even just parenting in general, I mean, there are courses out there about parenting based upon different strategies and stuff like that. And then you develop your own technique. But it's also about anything. It's about constant work. But the key is communication.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
emotional intelligence, and that's really another part of it too.
Right.
So.
But the idea of emotional intelligence, a lot of times, it's almost like you have to have emotional intelligence already to know that you need to build on it. You know what I mean? Like, there are people that are completely ignorant or oblivious to the fact that they are just not there. And when you tell them, they get really combative and they want to fight without realizing, no, there's some things you need to develop.
Yeah.
There's some maturity that you need to develop.
Right.
But anyway, I was thinking how, by the way, this is a weird introduction, but I want to test out, we have super chats and thank you. It's like a heart, I believe. And I just want someone to give me a whole dollar, just a dollar. Not because I need a dollar, I just need to know that the function works. So please look on your phones or your laptops or your computers if you're watching us through that, because I don't know if that function works on television, but I know that it works on the phone or the laptop and computer, whatever. See if you guys have like a heart thank you or something, and just send me a dollar, please. I know it sounds like I'm begging. Hey, I don't even care about the dollar, maybe 50 cents. I just need to know that that function works, and I appreciate it. Another question, I know it's so odd.
Or Thai baht, I don't know.
Huh?
It's pesos.
Pesos. You want to send me some Mexican pesos? Please go ahead and do that.
Whatever, just to see if it works.
Yeah, I just want to see that it
curious.
works, because I've been on YouTube for quite a while now. And hey, by the way, thank you so much. Do you see that we hit 35,000? It feels like forever. So anyway, I got this new function or this new upgrade, and I just want to know that it works. Okay, someone else says, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I'm paraphrasing because they said in terms of home, family, I guess you can address home, family, career, health, because it seemed kind of broad. But where do you see yourself in 10 years, and where do you see the world in 10 years? I don't know. You want to go first?
Yeah, I don't see anything. So that's how about that? Is that helpful? No.
It's not helpful.
Because I'm going to tell you what, I mean, if anything we learned through the pandemic and everything else is that if anyone that tells you that they know where things are heading,
right,
that is just suspect. We don't know. It's so hard to even determine
right,
what's going to happen next. I mean,
yeah, no, honestly, I looked at that and I thought
the housing market to be what it is. Who
right,
predict that, inflation in regards to, wages. I mean, wages have been stagnant for a while, but then,
Ooh, did someone send me something?
yeah,
Hey, look, it
works.
works.
Wow,
it
thank
works.
you.
Someone, who is it? Says all K?
Yeah, AK, is it Ali K?
Ali K or
Yeah.
AK said $5.
Thank you.
Yay! I'm so
Yay. Well, that's very
excited.
nice.
I'm so
Right.
excited. It works, y'all.
Pesos. Okay, so now we know.
So I need you to send me your Mexican pesos too.
But yeah, so the thing is exactly. So anyone that sits there, they're just selling you snake oil.
Who's
I mean,
that? Who's that?
that's Ali K.
Oh,
That's
okay, okay, okay.
yeah. So we thank you. But yeah, it's just again,
Yeah.
so where it is and stuff, and really, if anything we learned from the pandemic is exactly that: is to live day by day, and oh, with British pound. But thank you very much. So the British pound works.
Really?
Yeah.
Yay!
So and you know again, that doesn't mean you have your long term goals, but to appreciate the day and the time that you have now.
Right.
So you know, and that's what's so important. So if anything, what I see is hopefully is that we've become even though it doesn't sound like it when you listen to the news, but I think also what it is that there are good people out there. There are people out there that are doing good things every day. You just don't see it on the news.
Right.
You know, you don't see it on the news. And I know you folks out there, you know, there's people that quietly do the good things, whether they check on their neighbors, whether they go and donate and volunteer their time at school or help, with food and stuff like that for the needy. I mean, there's all different ways. They don't get on the news. You know, on the news you hear just the
Right.
worst things, right?
Right.
So what I hope to see is that, you know, we become, as part of it, more resilient, but also hopefully more caring and understanding and compassion. And sometimes you have to go through a little bit of pain to get a little better, you
Right.
know?
And I also pray or hope, again, yeah, we don't know what the future
Yeah.
holds. None of us really do. But we can certainly hope for certain things. And I think what I do hope is that we continue to take chances, um, take the big chances to help, better ourselves. Because I think a lot of times, many of us, or at least speaking personally over years, may operate out of fear, operating out of fear, and also operating thinking, I have next week to do it, or I have next year to do it. I have, yeah, more time to do it. And I think these last few years have definitely reinforced that we really don't have as much time as we think. And life can be so unpredictable. So,
Yeah.
whatever pursuits you want to do, whatever careers you want to chase, whatever new skills you want to learn, this is the time to do it and stop making excuses, hoping that, again, tomorrow I will do it.
Yeah, so make a plan and seize the day, carpe diem, and, don't just jump in though, but think about what you plan to do and work that plan, even if it's incremental, just a little bit. So if say you want, start your business, but you're working now, then start a little bit, put money aside, do the research, work, if even if it's a side hustle, gain the skill set. That's also what's critical too. Anyone that's telling you, hey, you can make something in immediate money, and you see it's populating throughout.
Everywhere.
Oh, I got a side hustle. I make $250,000, and this out there. But when you read it, it's very generic. It doesn't really tell you really, soups to nuts about how it works. It's
Right.
because really you find out that person that was doing that's making this so much money, they've been doing it for like 10 years.
Right.
So it's just now they're making that kind of money.
Yay! Someone sent me some more money.
Sure. Right. And again, like Misty is saying, sometimes it's very hard to watch the news. But guess what? Which is what which I've started to do. Turn it off. It can be difficult, but sometimes
Right.
do it in little bits. Get the news in the morning. Try to get some happy news, and then maybe watch the news in the afternoon, because you can do something
far
positive.
away from bedtime.
Yeah, stay away from bed. Oh my,
It's the
yeah,
worst.
it's the worst.
I cannot sleep
Crazy.
after.
So maybe a good routine is watch the news, either like mid morning, because if you follow the markets, after 9 when it opens up, or in the afternoon, because then you catch the day before and what's going on. But in the mornings, have a healthy routine where you're, either you're opening up with prayer or you're reading something that's inspiring or you're listening to inspiring music, whatever works, but it
Right.
gets you positive. You
Right.
go through your day, it can be challenging. You watch a little bit of news, but then in the evening, it's the same thing. Start to then look for something that's going to bring you peace and calm, spend time
Right.
with other people, check on,
And only spend time with people that uplift you. This is another thing that has nothing to do with where I see myself,
yeah,
but this is something that I definitely do and practice all the time, is I stay away from toxic people. This is like a big thing for me. If I don't feel that you are in some way helping me not to grow, but to feel better, it's not positive, I will cut you off in a second. And, I know sometimes people feel like that is very harsh because, on one hand, I can be extremely friendly and outgoing, and I try to be as warm to everyone, regardless of their socio-economic, regardless of their education or whatever. But on the other hand, I feel like I have no time for negativity. And so, even if it's family, I have this thing that if you are negative, or I feel anxious around you, or I feel that we're not in a good space, I'm done. I will walk away very quickly. So I don't know, as part of self-care, as part of that idea of turning off the news because it makes you upset, I also believe that sometimes you have to be strong enough to cut off people that aren't serving your purpose. But first of all, you have to know what that purpose is. I mean, if you're the type that loves drama and you love all of that negativity, then hey, go ahead.
no,
But
don't
if,
go ahead. Don't
but
go
you know what I
ahead.
mean?
No,
But my point is that if you know you are trying to do something positive in your life, or you value your peace, you really have to know when to cut people off.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
and it doesn't
or
mean
don't
that
even.
you dislike, that you hate them or that it's all negative. Sometimes there are certain people you have to love them from a distance. That's what I honestly feel. It doesn't mean, again, that you're hateful. You just have to deal with them
Mm,
from a distance. And that takes a lot of strength because they will try to reel you back in, or you'll have friends that try to bring you back together, or you'll have family that tries to bring you back together. But you have to know how to protect your peace. I really feel like that has a lot to do with my survival, or has a lot to do with looking younger, if you want to call it that.
that's
That peace
that's
is
why.
just learning how to get peace in your life. You have to know when to get rid of toxic people, and you
Uh,
know who they are.
that's why I look so old.
Because I'm like, I ain't dealing with
That's why. That's
it.
why I look tired as hell.
I have no problem saying, nope, not today,
Feel like a
not today.
truck ran
Get
over
away
me
from me, Satan.
and then backed up. And then Satan says, like, well, let me visit your partner. You know, let's see. So, no, I amen to that. Absolutely. And I
You
think, I
know?
mean, it's like that saying says, if you want to see a person's future, see who they hang around with, see their
Right,
circle.
right.
And so gives you a pause for thought because say, wait a minute, because that's the thing. It's like, if you want a future where, a bounty, but you surround yourself with petty, negative people, that's going to drain you of your
Right.
potential to be
People will
bountiful.
drain you.
Will distract you, will move
Right,
you from your purpose,
right,
and then you lose the very thing which is more valuable. We sit there and we talk about money, but really the most valuable thing you have is time. Because
exactly.
it flows and you never
Right,
get it back.
right,
You never get it back.
right.
You may get a second chance, but it's new time that you're using. You don't get the other time back. So
Right.
it's like, so what you have is what you have. So,
Right.
and we don't know how many summers we have or how many sunsets are given to us. That is the unknown. So we need to make every day count.
Right.
Love the people you love, distance yourself from those that hate you, and love and love and respect yourself to have hope to grow.
Right, exactly. And it goes back to the I respect myself enough to know that I'm not going to be anybody's doormat. Neither am I going to sit and revel in that kind of toxic space or energy. You know, I'm just about building myself, building my business, helping my family grow, and being a better person. And if you don't serve that purpose to me, we got to part ways.
Well,
Um,
that's good to know. So I'm gonna keep that in mind
no, seriously.
and keep my slippers near the front door.
No,
So I can
I
do
know
that.
that you're like the best. You are the best. You always have my best interest in mind.
Mm,
And that's all I that's all I care about.
no, I'm keeping extra running shoes. What's a good running shoe?
Uh,
Adidas? No, that's old. Puma. That's a good one.
yeah,
So
no,
if you see some Pumas near the front door, then something like that. Here's another piece of advice: always have for you married couples, always have an extra pair of running shoes,
why?
so in case you gotta get out that door.
Why you got to get out that
I
door?
don't know. It's just you
You
never
got to get
know.
out that door if you're
That's
honest
a
and if
clue.
you're
That's a clue. If your partner's starting to have a lot of running shoes,
running shoes and a suitcase packed on the
they'll
side.
spill a little skate bag.
Yeah, those like,
That might be a clue.
right, or the little apartment on the side,
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
Yeah, no, that's
That's a
really
big clue.
that was like in family law. That's what we were talking about. Where no, it was where yeah, partners had like secret accounts, and like there was a case where they had they had a house that the spouse didn't even know about.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
A whole house.
yeah, a whole house, not half a
Wow.
house.
No, it's just kind of saying he had a whole house.
She had a whole house.
He had a whole
Whole
house.
house. Yeah, she didn't even
And
know
she didn't
that.
even know.
Didn't even know. Didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah, it was in California, of course.
Right.
That's where a lot of the family law cases are interesting. Is California. Anyways, I digress. But yeah.
Yeah,
So.
no. So anyway, I don't know what else to talk about.
Well,
That's
so
what
we never really answered that question. What's
Which
the future?
question?
The future.
Oh, the future.
But
Okay.
there's no answer. That's the whole point. Because we're not gonna.
How about what would you like? Instead of maybe, obviously we can't predict, all we can say is what we would like. In the next 10 years, what would you like to see for yourself?
For myself, I don't really see. I mean, just take.
Okay,
care
let's
of
talk
family.
about health. In the next 10 years, what would you like to see for yourself, health-wise? I'll be
Health-wise?
specific.
That they have a scientific breakthrough that I can eat whatever I want to eat and not gain any ridiculous amount of weight.
Well, that ain't happening.
That they invent a donut that's just like, and I know this is going to offend all you very healthy eating people there, and God bless you because you have that, but yeah, it's like a special donut that you can just eat and then not feel guilty about. So. No, I mean, I just, be around. I hope to, make healthy choices and not spit them out.
How about Korea?
Again, this is the thing. Sometimes what happens is that there's, you know, some people they work on a timetable and it perfectly works. There's so much volatility out there, and that's one of the things is that what you think and you prepare for it, and then when you come out, the market has changed, like we know. Yeah, everything in moderation. You're absolutely right. So I'm going to moderately only eat 5 donuts and 2 cups of coffee. But you're absolutely right. So I'll go down.
Everything in
No, but
moderation.
seriously, you're absolutely right. Moderation is actually right, and it's just. And I think part of my issue is that I eat out of stress and anxiety. It's like when I'm studying and right before an exam, I'm constantly chewing like so it's and now it's become like it's habituated. So no, it's one of those things I have to work on that. So, but I appreciate that. You guys are absolutely right about that. No, that's
What does
5
he say?
donuts. He said, no, sir. You're absolutely right. I'm exaggerating. It's not 5 donuts. It's 4.5. It's 4.5. I have a tendency to over.
He does, though. His portions are huge.
Well, you cook well. I mean, you're a very good cook. See, that's the thing. So
Right. No, it's bad. It's bad for both of us. I mean, sometimes,
Yeah.
honestly, like I feel guilty because, again, knowing that I have a medical education, knowing that I know better, it's tough because, you want to set the right example for everyone else. And it's crazy when you're not disciplined enough, to really do it for yourself. I mean, we know better. We all know better, but the issue is the discipline, partly because of the stress. Which, by the way, I went to the dentist. Was it yesterday? Yeah, was it yesterday or day before?
Day before, maybe. I think.
So yeah, reminder to see your dentist. But why I bring this up is because my dentist, this is like a new dentist, and this is like the third dentist, over the years, said to me that it looks like I grind my teeth. And we were talking about Korea and stuff, and he was saying, that may have a lot to do with anxiety and how, I need a mouth guard and whatever. And I was like, I pretended that I'm hearing it for the first time, but honestly, it was not the first time I had heard that. Someone else had told me that before about my anxiety and grinding my teeth and this and that. But I say this to say that, a lot of times people look at doctors and they think, how can you be a fat doctor, or how can you be an overweight doctor? Well, or how can you be whatever profession, high stress profession, and think that you need to be perfect. And part of the reason that you're this way is because of the profession, and even when I'm not practicing, the point is that I was already a high strung person. And when you're doing certain things, it's hard to, we all have our vices. Some people turn to substance abuse. Some people turn to cheating, using sex as a way to cope. Some people turn to alcohol. We all have our vice. And I think the reality for Kenton and I is that often it is food, or food becomes the way we cope. On top of the fact that I think that we genuinely enjoy food because we enjoy cooking and we enjoy trying different cultures, and that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it is finding a balance.
Yeah, it's always about balance. That's true in everything in life. Like something that's positive, like work, and you enjoy your work. But if it's where you're putting in 80 hours a week and then you don't spend any time with your children or with your spouse, guess what? In about 10 to 15 years, you're going to spend all that hard-earned money in a divorce, in therapy for the kids, on and on. So it's sort of like, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like planting seeds, but it's easier said than done. And that's why it's like no judgment. Because also sometimes people are also large because, again, also health issues, whether it's affecting, in regards to metabolism or,
a lot
thyroid.
of things. Even,
there's a lot of
obviously
different things.
Poverty, it affects, I don't know, obviously that's not the case with us, but we all know that people in extreme poverty also
choices.
Tend to be
Food
a lot
deserts,
heavdon't have the best food available.
Right.
Our issue is just overindulgence. It's not necessarily a poverty thing, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, people are overweight for different reasons: stress, lack of mobility, because maybe they have some arthritic conditions.
That's a good point that you raised, because again, for those that are working remotely, that's also a big thing, because that's one of the things I was reading too, to put me in a great spirit, was that if you sit for too long working, you lose like 5 years of your life.
Right.
I think I read that. And
I was telling you that,
did you tell me that?
Yeah, I was telling you that.
Oh, you told me that?
Yeah.
I just swear I read that.
I told you that, but that's okay.
This is why I eat, stress eat. Because I'm like, did I make that up?
No, it's okay.
Did you tell me that?
Yeah, I really did.
When?
I don't remember when, but like about a week ago.
No, I think
I
you're
was
telling
talking
me,
to you because I needed you to go, let's exercise.
and that's what I'm saying. You're saying, let's go
I
exercise.
said, let's go exercise, because I read that when you sit for more than like 12 hours a day, you're, each time you do that, you're shortening your life by up to 5 years.
I thought I heard
that.
you say,
what?
We better go exercise, or I'm going to take 5 years off of your life.
No, I don't want to take 5 years off your life.
I want you to be here.
I want you to be here,
I thought you said you were going to beat 5 years off of me if I didn't go
Kenton.
exercise.
Yes, Kenton, you wish.
Said me, beat me. So anyways, but, okay, so I didn't read that. That's why you got to exercise. It's good for memory.
Exactly. No, it really is.
It is. No,
it's
it is.
One
it's
of
true.
one of the things that they list to help. I don't know if it's proven. I think it might be, but when for those suffering from Alzheimer's or who have a family history of Alzheimer's, besides the whole diet,
Yeah,
besides,
yeah.
yeah, exercise is one of those things.
No, yeah, it's important. So do I see myself exercising in 10 years? Yeah, sure.
You better.
I hope
You better.
medical science, yeah, I
You
guess
have to. You
exercise.
have to if you want to be here.
Yeah, no, I guess I want to be around as much as possible. So I guess we all want to be around so we can
Right,
see.
we all want to be around, right? So anyway, yeah, in 10 years, we talked about Korea, right?
I
Did
don't
you
know.
sort of?
Well,
We
we'll
want to
see.
be
You know what?
making money. How about that?
Well,
We want
I
to be able
mean,
to take care of our families like everybody else.
yeah.
We want to be making an impact.
I think to me that's important is
Right.
to
It's
make
not
a
just
difference, to
making
make a
money, but I
difference.
want
I
to be
think,
able to making an
I mean,
impact in
I think
society.
the money will fall, you work and make a difference and hopefully it's in alignment. I mean, in regards to that you're able to meet, the needs of your family and stuff like that. So
Right.
I think that's reasonable.
And that, also, and that my children are successful.
Yeah.
Because I think that is, just a reflection of how hard we've worked for them. I know that in 10 years, they're all, doing what they want to do, hopefully, or on the journey to
Yeah.
doing what they want to do. Because, yeah, crazy. Khalid will be like 32. That is so weird.
Yeah, yeah.
That is so weird. Our oldest will be like 32 in 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if I'll be a grandma by then.
Full
Y'all
of
need to
the-
be here. I hope you guys are here when I'm a grandma. That's going to be so cool.
I don't know.
I think I'll be a cool
I
grandma.
don't know. My vision is that I definitely will be riding my motorcycle around as a grandfather. I'm not gonna.
Really?
I gotta get that thing fixed anyways. But
Grass.
and you're gonna be on it.
I'm not going to be on it.
They're
I am
gonna
not
see-
getting on any motorcycle.
Yes.
I am not a fan of motorcycles.
Ah,
I am not a fan of motorcycles.
really? What about those Polaris, the 3-wheel that we see?
Well, if
Kinda
it's not
cool.
going fast and it's wide base, not your typical motorcycle
Well, I mean,
with
not
two
going
wheels.
fast.
It's not going fast.
But
So
that's a
it's,
bicycle.
I don't know
not
what to
going
tell you,
fast.
Ken.
It's
All
not-
I'm telling you is I'm not getting on any motorcycle. Do you know, like, the number one organ donors, when they look at, the people who donate their organs, some of the number one people
Who donate
who
organs?
donate organs
Husbands.
come from, no, it's not a
Husbands.
male-female thing in this case.
No,
But
I'm talking about husbands. You can be
Well, I'm talking about where they get those organs from. A lot of times come from young, healthy people who happen to have crashed and died from motorcycle accidents. Now, in your case, you won't be young. You're not young, but
My organs
you are
are-
healthy enough,
my
and
organs
I
are-
want you here. So
They're-
I'm not encouraging motorcycle.
They don't want this age organs. They don't want that.
They don't want your organs.
They'll ask for a refund. No, it's not going to happen.
We're laughing about it. This is some serious stuff.
I
God
know.
forbid.
I know.
God
I know.
forbid.
But that's part of being human. You got to laugh at these things. I mean, life is.
Are you an organ donor, by the way?
Actually, I am. Yeah, on my license, I am an organ donor. So, and I support that. I mean, I think that if you can, but that's again, that's a personal choice. I
Right.
think it's important that, again, if you find in your heart that you can make a difference in someone's life or people's lives, we can. And again, the healthcare system we have out here, UNC Health and Duke, so we have transplant centers and stuff like that, and
Right.
it does make a difference.
Do they really? I've always wondered, because I know that there's a lot of paperwork and documentation, obviously, to transferring organs to someone that needs it. But I always wondered, does it really start from what you have on your driver's license?
Yeah, you have
Because
to. Yeah, you have to give consent. That's part of it.
that's the first, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. In here, yeah, you have to have consent. You can't just take someone's organs.
No. I know they can't just take, but I always felt like there's a whole nother
Well,
layer
no,
of,
it's not just your driver's license. I mean,
consent
you can
that
have
happens.
you can have consent, through a healthcare proxy or
Right.
a healthcare power of attorney, HPOA. And there you can designate that you want to be an organ donor. You can also make it stated in your with your healthcare provider and document it.
right. Like
your
living will.
through advanced directives.
Advanced
Mhm,
directives,
advanced
right.
directives, exactly right. So, there's different ways. It's just that the license is just the most ubiquitous way, the most common is the word. So, because majority of people have either a license or state ID,
Right.
and especially nowadays you have something. I'd be curious to know if in England or in any other countries you have something similar as a system. But that'd be interesting to know. But yeah, so that's exactly it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, cool. We're gonna go. I'm gonna hopefully take Kenton for a walk.
Yeah, walk, WOK.
Walk, not a walk,
Oh, not a
not that
walk?
kind of walk,
A cooking
but a
walk?
walk,
Oh.
WALK.
Oh.
Get some slight cardio. See, it's funny when we go for a walk. I like to do a quick sprint. I'm like, "Come on, Ken! Come on, Ken!" He'd be like, "My knees, my knees."
Man, like I'm a little
And
chihuahua.
you should have seen him when we were younger. He was all buff. So we're gonna get you. We're gonna get there. We're all gonna get back
All
there.
right. Listen. Well, thanks, folks, for hanging out with us. And again, just keep those ideas coming in, and we'll talk about things. And again, if you have any concerns or anything, share with us, because again, this is a conversation, and
Yeah.
by no means, we know anything is a journey. So we're sharing with you and learning also with you as we interact with you. So appreciate it, and
Right.
also appreciate you, Hector.
Hector.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely leave us any suggestions for next Friday. Hopefully, God willing, we'll be back. And yeah, thanks to anyone who sent us a super chat
Yeah,
or a
appreciate
thank
you.
you. We really appreciate that. I'm so excited. So cool. And look out for a family vlog on Sunday. Yeah, I'll be meeting new people on Sunday again. And it's a mix up. There's a lot of good food. There's some Korean food. There's we went to the container home place.
Well, the box yard.
Yeah, the box yard place. So
Yeah.
yeah, look out for that. And I'm not sure if I'll include the Raleigh fashion show. Depends on how long the vlog is tomorrow. But definitely look out for that. It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Sunday, I mean, not tomorrow.
Yes,
Sunday.
Yeah. So we're going to be sharing a lot of stuff going on in Raleigh, and then hopefully we'll expand out to other cities, time permits and stuff like
Right,
that. And we'll
right.
continue on this Family Friends Friday chat to talk
Okay.
about different things. So.
Yeah. So thank you, you guys.
All right. Be
Thank
blessed.
you.
Take care of yourselves.
Bye. XO.
Yeah, I always forget that stuff.